Hey everyone. So this is my challenge assignment number one for my Fundamentals of Digital Media course. Um, and we are to um, kind of do an introduction to Photoshop for you. So I'm new to Photoshop myself. So there's a lot of things I'm still learning as I'm doing this. So if you have any suggestions about techniques or things that I missed or that can do better, just leave me a comment down below. So the topic for this activity was your favorite activity, and so I enjoy backpacking and camping and going out and just being out in nature. So what I chose was a picture of Yosemite uh, with a stream um, through it, and so that's what we're going to start with as it loads up here. All right. And so the first tool that I want to introduce is the zoom tool. Right now, the picture is um, smaller than what I'd like to have it on my screen. And so we'll just go to zoom. And then up here on the toolbar, you have two options, zoom in and zoom out. So we'll make sure that zoom in is selected. And we'll hover over the picture and just left click. And so it blows it up a little bit bigger, which is a lot easier to edit with. Also want to hit full screen so that I have the full viewport of it. There's also the fill screen, which fills it in even more. And so I basically want to do that so that I can see the picture better and choose what I want to do next with it. So the next tool I want to do is I want to do a quick select. And so we'll hover over the quick select tool and right click and then left click the quick selection tool itself. All right. And what I want to do is I want to highlight the sky section. And so we'll start in the upper left corner and we'll just go over to the right. And just like that, all the sky portion has been selected. Now what I want to do next is I want to change the blue to kind of a sunset color. So the yellow, purple into blue. To do that, we'll use the gradient tool. So we'll right click gradient. We'll select the gradient tool. And then up here in the toolbar, you'll notice that I have selected a yellow to blue gradient already. So by clicking the down arrow, this gives you a lot of different presets. And so the preset that I used was under the purples. And it's this one right here, purple 22. Okay. I'm also going to use a linear gradient, which means it goes essentially from one color to the next color in the same direction. They also have the option of radial, angle, reflected, and diamond. And so I want to go from a yellow to blue, and so I want to go from a lower position and go up so that my yellow is at the bottom and my blue is at the top. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and save this file now. And we're going to save it as a Photoshop. I'm not really sure what the PSD, but it's a Photoshop file extension. All right. And so the next thing I want to do is I kind of want to move this grass section more into the background. And so we'll use the rectangle marquee tool. And I'm actually going to use a rectangular marquee. So I just right clicked and then left click on rectangle. And I want to grab this section here. And then I'm going to use the move tool, and we're going to move this up and in, just like that. And then we're going to go ahead and crop the entire picture. So I'm going to use the crop tool. And so I'm doing this so that we can kind of get a smaller picture and only get really the portion of the picture that I really want. You'll notice up here at the toolbar there's a cancel, an accept. So accept it. Okay. And now I need to get rid of this hard line that we have that basically you can definitely tell that the picture was cropped in. So to do that, I'm going to end up using the blur tool. Now before I use the blur tool, we're going to go back to zoom and we're going to zoom back in. Alright, so we go back to the blur tool, right click it, click blur. Right. Go up to the toolbar. We're going to go with, let's say 10% hardness. And maybe we'll go down to about 20 pixels. Okay. And we're just going to kind of blur that line there. So you can definitely tell there's a distortion in the colors there. So I think the next step we're going to do is the clone. So we'll use the clone stamp tool. We'll right click on it. We'll do the clone. Alright, so we're going to press Alt and right click, drag the mouse down a little bit so that we can shrink, and then we'll use Alt again and left click, and that's going to dictate what we have to actually kind of clone the image with. So we're just going to do that in a few spots, and we're going to kind of just erase some of that hard line. Okay, just like that. And we'll zoom back in. Alright. So we did the crop, we did the select, we did the move. Let's go ahead and add some text to this. So we'll end up using the text tool. We'll do horizontal text type. Alright. Get rid of all this generic text. I'm going to select a different font type, so we want to go with Palomino Linotype. Make sure we have a large enough font, so we're at 48 points, and it's white so that we can kind of see it in the darker background. And so we're going to call this Yosemite at Sunset. And then we'll use the move tool, kind of move that up out of the way. Okay. Let's go ahead and let's put that back to screen. Let's go ahead and move that up higher. There we go. And we'll save it again. Alright, so we've gone through the zoom tool, the quick selection tool, the gradient tool. We used crop, we used the selection and move tool, and we've used the text tool. We also used the blur tool and the clone tool as well. So I think we'll save this. We'll save it as a JPEG. And I think that's pretty good to start with. I appreciate you watching my introduction to Photoshop tutorial. Like I said, if you have any suggestions or comments, leave them down below. And I appreciate your time. All right, y'all take care. We'll see you next time.